There are days I will always remember when the sun and the world were bright. Solar energy filled all our needs, but only a few could bring the sun's power into themselves. These were the Inti warriors, but we call them the children of the sun. They aided our people in so many ways, as providers, healers, and in times of danger, our protectors. I was always told I would become a warrior, a big responsibility, but I had a gift that could help my people. So, I trained. At last came the day they said I was ready to join their ranks and embrace the sun. There are days I will always remember. Was it my fault that no one knew the true extent of my power? To this day, I still don't understand what I did wrong. But it doesn't matter anymore. I will make up for what I've done. Because I am Illari, and I am the last child of the sun.
Alright, so, yeah, kind of a tragic backstory for Illari there. Or is it Illari? I think I heard her say she was Illari, or is that how it's pronounced? I'm gonna go with Illari, since that's how it's kind of spelled. But if she says Illari, I guess I'll go ahead and correct myself. But yeah, she is the newest hero acted into Overwatch 2 in this new season. She is a support hero. Using her solar threading augmentation, Illari strikes down her enemies by harnessing the power of the sun. So, this is interesting because it seems to me as if... hold on. Well, let's go over her kit first. And then we'll go to the practice range and I'll try to kind of share my view on this. But her weapon is the solar rifle. The primary fire is a long-range auto-charging rifle. And the right click is a medium-range healing beam that consumes solar energy in her rifle. Her shift is Outburst, launches her in the direction that she is moving, and knocks back enemies. Hold jump to go higher. I will admit, I've only messed with her briefly, and don't know if I've actually gotten the hang of it, but maybe I just need to play her more to actually understand. Her E is the healing pylon, deploys a pylon that will heal nearby allies, which can be attacked and destroyed by enemies. And her ultimate is called the Captive Sun. Fires an explosive ball of solar energy. Enemies hit are slowed and explode after taking significant damage. By the way, I believe this also allows her to go up in the air in the same way that Sigma's ult allows him to go up in the air. So I think I've actually seen it where an Illari was knocked off the edge and then they popped their ult and they were able to fly back up before they fell to their death. But that's how I think it works. Before we look at her in the practice range, and yes, this is part of a new patch of content, and trust me, I will get to the special PvE content and that in a separate video. In this video, we're just looking at Illari. We'll take a look at that stuff in a separate video, okay? But yeah, let's go ahead and look at Illari's stuff here in the gallery. This is her default skin. Daybreak. Sundown. Llama pajamas, because of course we have to have some very cute and adorable skins in here, of course. Anquas, Chumpy, Cully, Kumira. I apologize if I am messing up these pronunciations. That's her default intro. It's interesting what happened in the intro about her apparently... I don't know, maybe they were implying that she was, like, perhaps a gifted one that was perhaps more gifted in the power of the sun than the others were, to the point where when they made her one of them and unlocked her actual power and potential, it destroyed the area around her and killed everyone. Not really sure what the explanation is there, but it was kind of a hand wave that she's like, it doesn't matter now. I've got it. Okay, so this is flaring up, which I already have unlocked, actually. And then there's Captive Sun. I do like that her hair goes full Super Saiyan when she does this. I mean, come on, it goes like yellow gold. I mean, come on, she's going Super Saiyan. I love it. I do love that look. In fact, I think I'm going to go ahead and unlock that one, since I have the currency to spend, and equip that. So, emotes. That's her heroic, cheer, chuckle, deep breath, let me turn the game up a bit more. Have a seat. She uses the healing pylon to sit down. Taunt. The power of the sun in the palm of my hand. Look, I had to make a reference to it. So victory pose is heroic. Stare down. Basking. Over the shoulder. And of course, weapon charms, souvenirs.
Forgiveness is earned. I will do anything it takes.
Turn it up a bit more.
Don't make excuses. Me voy a asar. ¿Qué falta? I will make up for what I've done. Better learn from your mistakes. Sapin chaco y jamos haikimanta. Rise like the sun. Watch who you trust. You haven't seen what I've seen.
I have a feeling I may use that voice line. That sounds like something like a vet of this game would say. Like, look, you youngster, you newbie, you haven't seen what I've seen. Let's see. I'm looking for... No, not the season ones. So here's her cute spray. And her pixel spray. And her rifle can be made even more golden. It's kind of golden by default, sort of. So you're just making it a bit more golden. I'm sure as more skins get added and change how the weapon looks, it'll become more appealing. Let's quickly look in the achievement section and see what those achievements actually are. By the way, this is actually something kind of funny. They've actually added now dates when you actually earn these achievements, even though these are not actually the achievements that you would have earned back then, because some of these have changed over the years. Like, for example, the Torbjorn ones. Like, obviously this was not a thing back in the day. Back in the early days. This armor up, this was not it. Remember, we used to toss out armor packs, but anyways, it's just funny to be able to see the dates, how early, like, obviously I didn't get this because the magnetic grenade didn't exist back then. But it's just cool that now they have dates showing, yep, I've been playing this game that long, since 2016. But anyways, Illari's achievements, if I can find them. Are they not here? I mean, she's a support, so it should be under support. Unless her achievements are not available in the game yet? I guess that's possible. I'm guessing that, oh, wait, no, you don't see it here. You look in the challenges area. Hero. Ah, now you can just select the hero and see, okay, what can I do for this? Sorry, of course, you gotta be able to know. So, this is interesting. Okay, so this is part of the new system they have here, and this is something I'll go over in the video where we go over all the new content they added in this patch in this season. But they've added the progression system here for the characters. So, yeah, there's also this other stuff. I'll get to that later, like I said. Right now, we're just trying to focus on Illari. And I was trying to see if I could look at the achievements of what it takes to earn those sprays. But I guess I'll have to wait, and I don't know, maybe they just haven't added them in yet. So let's go to the practice range and see how she runs and, you know, how her kit is. By the way, they've also changed the practice range a bit.
Voice chat may be recorded to investigate and verify reports of disruptive behavior.
I carry my burdens alone.
Right, so this is how it looks when you're playing her. You can see that you've got 14 shots in this solar rifle. You'll also see that the solar energy... Well, actually, it's two different things. You've got one for your weapon, which is there, which you could hold down and just keep firing, but it won't charge. So you could let it charge, and then when it's fully charged, it's going to do more damage. Let me go ahead and unload if you want to see how long does it take for her to reload. I'd say that's around 2 seconds or so. Not a quick reload.
La mona, aunque se vista de seda.
So you'll see if you aim down there, it doesn't, kind of in the torso area, it doesn't do that much damage. Now, of course, it does do more damage if you let it fully recharge. So you gotta go ahead and let a little bit of time go by rather than spam it if you want to do more damage. Now, as for her right click.
Fixing that. Don't fuss. I need to recharge.
So yeah, you can't just hold it down because you'll eventually run out and you gotta recharge. Now, it doesn't start recharging right away. Looks like it goes a second or so before it actually starts recharging. So you're probably not going to get your most healing output from your right click, I'm guessing. Now, her pylon, though.
Healing pylon deployed.
That's probably where you'll get a good amount of your healing, as long as they don't attack and destroy it, because you'll see it just keeps healing nearby allies. Also, you'll notice they've made some changes to the practice range here. We can actually see, I want to change the bot team to either enemies or allies, if you're wanting to test like a big healing ult on a support. But damage ones, look, you can even, they even have a tank bot here with a shield. So yeah, they've made a lot of changes in this season, in this patch.
I'm not going to watch you die.
So let's take a look at her ult. Actually, hold on. Alright, so that's the shift. So it looks like if I hit shift without jumping, she doesn't really move that much. Now, if I'm moving forward and then I do this, then it launches her forward a bit more. Now, let's say I'm backing up, like, oh gosh, get away from me! Get away from me! And then I, ha! So it launches me backwards, and it's supposed to knock them back a ways from me. Now, if I jump up and then shift, sends me up into the air a bit more. So now let's ult.
Face the sunrise! Soy más hábil de lo que crees. I was made for this.
So it looks like when you ult, what you're supposed to do is kind of like hopefully see if they're all bunched up, and then you launch at one of them, and then when it goes off, it's supposed to like explode for AoE damage, and I guess pass on that solar energy to the enemies, so that way you can be able to get kind of a chain reaction of damage against them. It's also a nice way to test out how your weapon does against shields. So yeah, that timing of making sure that it gets charged up before you fire is going to be take a little getting used to. So now let's see. Let's try it here.
Face the sunrise!
So I think is... Now, if you're wondering, I don't believe this ult does anything when it comes to your healing. It's just about damage. Which... This brings me to something that I've always had an issue with. And I don't... It just... In my mind, it just doesn't seem to click all that well. By the way, my pylon was still sitting there healing. So it seems to just stay there for who knows how long, just keeps on healing and healing. The duration on this seems kind of nuts. So if your team is just kind of like holding down a certain area, and you can put your pylon in a place where the enemy can't see it and attack it without having to move forward, you could get a lot of healing from that pylon. You must construct additional pylons. I'm sorry, I had to. But the thing that I've always had an issue with is this idea of making support characters that their emphasis is not about healing. It's about damage. Or rather, also that they can be able to do as much damage or even more damage than healing. And that's just something that I've always kind of had an issue with, because to me, isn't a support character supposed to, you know, do healing? Isn't that their function or intended purpose? Because otherwise, why make them a healer instead of a damage dealer? Like, if you're going to have them focus on damage instead of healing, then why are they a healing character? It's why I get a little irritated when I see people play other supports in a much more damage-focused role. And you know what I'm talking about. Like, when you see a DPS Moira, I cannot tell you how irritating that is. Now, Zenyatta is a different, unique case, because, well, obviously he's helping increase your allies' damage, but I'm okay with that, because to me, he can be able to support while also increasing the damage that your allies do. It's kind of like how the augmentation of Ochre is kind of supposed to be like that in World of Warcraft right now. The idea that you are increasing the damage output of your team. Like, I like that. Like, that's what Zenyatta kind of helps do. Same thing with Kiriko with her ult. But I will admit, I get also irritated when I see Kirikos that instead of being with their team and healing, they're trying to flank and actually DPS the enemy team. Now, they have a way to get out of that if they get into trouble by being able to teleport back to their team. But if you're here DPSing the enemy team, you're not able to heal your team, you know, your allies. So if you're focused on DPSing the enemy team and then they kill your allies because you weren't there to help heal them, to me, that's on you, because you're playing a healer as a DPS. Same thing with other healers in this game, like Baptiste, even DPS Annas, which that's something that I'm not the only one that gets irritated about that. I know somebody else, she plays a lot of Ana, and she can't stand it seeing other Annas play more DPS than actually, you know, helping heal their team. Now, Brig is, again, one of those different cases, because she does good healing output as she goes in and does damage to the enemy team. That's one of the reasons I like Brig. I've always liked Brig, of that playstyle of let's get in there and do damage so I can do more healing for my teams. Now, of course, you can stay back and try to toss out armor packs, but remember those are on a charge and recharge system. Whereas if you go in and you're attacking, you're keeping the uptime of your passive going to do more healing output. But, like, I get so irritated when I see supports that, in my opinion, play selfishly as if they're a damage dealer instead of healing. Like, when I see a Baptiste use his ult only for himself. That he doesn't bother to put his ult in place where his team benefits from it, just himself, as if he thinks he's the only one that matters when it comes to doing damage. Like, I've seen this happen, where a Baptiste will put his ult just down for himself, just trying to kill me, as opposed to, like, in my mind, the way it's intended to be is that a Baptiste would put his ult in a place where his team benefits from it. Like, if I'm playing Baptiste and I have a soldier and I see he has his visor ready, I'm putting the window right where the soldier can be able to use his visor so he can be able to get the damage output from his visor along with the window. But if I put it in a place where he can't be able to use it, I'm being a detriment to my own team at that point. Like, you know, same thing with other people that are playing other support characters like Lucio that just buzz around the map and their speed boost and never are around to help heal their team. Or whether... Now, Mercy is a different thing because, look, I got nothing against DPS Mercies, especially when they pop their ult, because it's a nice little brief window where you can have the opportunity to actually go ahead and just contribute that way. But a lot of the times what Mercy is mainly doing is, of course, damage boosting her allies. So it's a different set of circumstances and a unique case. But, you know, like, I applaud Mercies that are able to have great DPS games. You know, like, I saw a video of a Mercy getting like 30 eliminations in a game, which was like awesome to watch. But, you know, it's not an everyday thing. If it's a constant thing where a Mercy is constantly shooting people and not healing her team, and her team is dying around her because she's not healing them, that's on the Mercy. Because she's supposed to be healing them because she's one of the healers of the team. Like, I know this is a very kind of, like, I guess, debatable or hot topic with some people, because it's such a, you know, a thing I see, like, debated and argued amongst other players. You know, these DPS healers, as opposed to actually trying to heal their team. Now, they've actually tried to increase the damage output of Lifeweaver, and, like, okay, you know, that's, you know, if you can make it work, fine. But to me, it's like, your priority should still be trying to heal your team, not DPS the enemy team. If you could get some extra damage output, great! But don't let that be your main priority instead of, you know, actually healing your team. Like, I'll see people that they will queue as a healer just to play the game, and they'll play these support characters as if they're DPS. And Moira is one of the biggest, like, culprits of this mindset that just constantly bothers me. So when I see Illari with a number of things here, now it's not entirely the case. Obviously, you know, she's got the pylon and she's got the healing beam. But that's basically it when it comes to her healing output. Just this beam and that pylon. Now, the fact that the pylon has a short cooldown, it's only 8 seconds, and it's apparently stays up for a very long time. But then I see, I don't know, like, even with Moira, when she ults, the thing about the ults for the different characters, Moira has an ult that can damage the enemy team, yes, but it can also heal her team. Ana's ult is about buffing up someone who can do a lot of damage, supporting somebody else. Zenyatta's ult is to do massive healing. Kiriko, her ult is about enhancing the damage of her teammates. Same thing with Baptiste. Lifegiver has a ult that heals his team. Lucio has the big bro shield. Mercy is able to do her healing beam and damage boost beam at much longer range during Valkyrie. Are you getting my point here? So when I see Illari's ult, which as far as I know, maybe this is some unwritten thing that's not showing here on the screen, but there is nothing here that's actually telling me how this benefits the team, other than that the enemies that are hit by this are slowed, and they explode after taking significant damage, which I guess that helps increase the damage, I suppose, but I'm still not seeing how this, like, once you do this, this helps enhance your team. Other than this is just a big, like, damage output, I suppose. Also, I'm not entirely sure how long that lasted. or how long that does last, if it just stays up, I honestly don't know. That pylon is still up. Again, I would like to know what the actual full duration. Blizz, add little things like this into this screen here. Just go ahead and add a little text here saying the pylon will be up for this amount of time. You know, just add little extra text here to provide more information to the player about how these things work, as opposed to us having to go online to a site and actually look up the actual details that players have been able to find and then post it online for players to find out, because this is not providing enough information to the player. Just my take on it. So, I don't know. I'm not sure how I feel about Illari. I like the pylon idea, but only if you're able to put in a place where the enemy team won't immediately destroy it. And I say that because when I was doing an arcade game, I was able to just kind of get in there as Reinhardt and just, like, take down the pylon. It takes 2 swings to take it down, which I'm still like, come on, Blizz, make his hammer hit harder. But, I don't know. I'm not sure if Illari's going to be one of my... the characters that I go ahead and try to play more. I don't know.
Face the sunrise! Can't afford to be sorry.
Yeah, I think the practice range maybe doesn't give the full, like, showcase or story about how this kit and what she does with her ult and all that. That pylon is still up. My goodness. It's like, this thing is going to stay up, like, forever. Just constantly healing people. But anyways. Still doesn't show the stats. So you can't really, like, check, like, the stats that's putting out or anything. Or check the, like, how much it heals per second or anything like that. Like, they added these updates, but I feel like more needs to be added. More needs to be done. As far as Illari, I don't know. I really don't know how to feel about her. I think once I actually, like, try to play some games with her, maybe my opinion on her will change, because it certainly did for some other characters when I was like, I don't know about this. Like, I wasn't too high up on Sigma when he first came out, and then he grew on me quite a bit, where I do play him quite a bit, but I don't know about Illari. Like, why would I play her instead of some of these other characters? Like, why would I play Illari over Mercy, Moira, Zenyatta, Brig, Ana, Kiriko, or even Lifeweaver? Because I feel like I would actually prefer to play Lifeweaver instead of Illari. But that's just my initial impression right now. That's not, you know... It's probably more than likely going to change the more I play her. And they do have it where you can be able to just, like, go into a no limits arcade mode right now and just play her regardless if anyone else wants to play her. Which, I don't know, maybe more games will let me see more of what she can do, how she provides more towards the team. I don't know. Yeah, that's Illari. So, I'm going to go ahead now, see if maybe we can take a look at some of the changes and the new cool content they've added to Overwatch 2. Stay tuned.